they say. Well, women are more intelligent, so articulate, so I am flattered by it.
We are trying to copy women, actually, right, Debbie?
We are women before we become men in our mother's world.
Yeah, that's right.
Some people on the Y chromosome kicks. So,
before the embryo develops into the male.
we are all women, yeah. Actually, it's woman gender before it becomes male. It required as a.
So Andy, do you stay
So,
at home right now?
Eddie, she's asking you if you are in your house right now, or where are you now?
Yeah, yes, I'm in my house right now. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start our class. Okay, Eddie. Earlier we were talking about government policies that are affecting the service industry worldwide. And now we are ready to move on to talk about social changes. What kind of social changes that you have encountered or you have seen in Chicago and outside of Chicago, in other places in the U.S., like you used to live in Atlanta, right, before. So we're just curious, what kind of social changes have you seen that are impacting
Okay,
the
that's
service?
about what I saw, not what I read, yeah? What I experienced.
Okay,
Let me tell you something.
how about both? You can start with what you have experienced, and then you can talk about something that you have heard others talk about, or maybe some pundits or experts or whatever. But
Okay.
let us know what you have
Yeah.
seen first. That's more interesting, I think.
Let me say something first about change, yeah? Because there is a naive assumption in our world that all you need to change the institution. And basically, what that means, when you want to start a new business in a new place, a new country, you always look at politics, and you want to have stability. You want politics to be stable, you want the government to be reliable, you want the laws to be good, and law enforcement to work. You want corruption to be low, and actually, it's not the institution, it's culture, because in a different culture, related differently to government institutions, and you have basically two kinds of societies. You have societies that have been living for a long time with reliable government, and people trust government and trust institutions and trust the law. Then you have another kind of society where people trust their tribe or their clan or their family. And for instance, let me take as an example Africa or Middle East. These are typical places where people would rather trust their clan or their families rather than their government. And on the other hand, if you take Southeast Asia or Europe or North America, people trust government and trust the laws. And
Okay.
why is this important?
Can we stop so we can tell the students? Okay, so what Eddie is saying is that one important aspect about the social changes and social aspects that are affecting the services industry and the services business development throughout the world is a political aspect in the government between the government and people. There are two different things, or two different situations. One where people trust the government and believe that the government can open up and secure possibilities for the country and for the people of the country. And another situation where people just trust their own families and maybe friends and their own clan, and they don't trust the government so much. And I think, do you have any idea where or which places are where people trust the government, and which places in the world or throughout the world have people that don't trust the government but they trust their families and their clan? Any idea? Okay, so let me ask you this. In Taiwan, do people trust the government?
I'll say yes, I'll say yes.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, many people think no, but idealistically, I think they do. Because, we for the most part, Taiwanese, they do uphold the law and they follow government regulations. Okay, maybe except for the traffic, Everybody likes to break the traffic
May I
rules.
interrupt you? May I interrupt you, please?
Yes.
Here's something. There is a very simple test.
You want to
Okay.
translate?
Suppose you have been cheating.
Yes.
Somebody is owing you money, yeah?
Yeah.
You have been cheating. You have been taken advantage of. Are you going to appeal to the law enforcement, or are you going to appeal to some clan, some family member?
I see,
To
yes.
take the money back. So, I mean, these are very different situations, but there are places in most places in this world. People
Yes.
don't go to the government. Maybe if they go to the police, they need to bribe the police in
Yeah.
order to solve their problem.
Yeah.
This is true in Eastern Europe, for instance, in Russia,
Yeah.
Ukraine, in Serbia, Romania. You have a problem, you better go, you need a police. Okay, you better prepare some bribery, some gifts, something, in order for the police to work for you,
Yeah.
So this is and basically business people do not like such place.
Yes,
No?
yes, I agree.
People are looking for a place with strong government, so I say, well, yeah, no, Taiwan, China, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam, okay, if you want. There are places where people do not rely on mafia structures, on
Yeah.
family, clan, or bribery. They rely on government, even if they are critical toward their government.
Sure.
We are all, let me say, we all are frustrated with our government, with law
Right.
enforcement, with laws, with
That's
everything.
right.
But
Okay.
we are frustrated because we expect them to do something. That this is the point here.
Okay, so I think Eddie has a very good point. So yes, maybe we don't really trust the government, but if we have a problem, like someone's trying to cheat us, or someone's trying to hurt us, or someone is doing the wrong thing to us, do we go to the police or not in Taiwan? Yes, so that means that we do trust the government. So that's the point here, not, okay, I don't like the president, or I don't like the mayor, or I don't like this guy, or I don't like that guy, right? That's not what we talk about. We talk about whether we trust the government to enforce laws, so the laws can protect us and our business, especially the business, because we're talking about business here. And businesses don't like places where, like poor countries and corrupt countries, for example, like Africa and the Philippines and Indonesia. We know those countries because they're near Taiwan. So you see that their workers, they come to work in Taiwan. Why? Obviously because we can trust our government more than they can trust their government. Because obviously big and good businesses, they don't want to do anything in the Philippines or Indonesia or even Vietnam, because there's no stability there. They don't like how the government treats them as a business. Okay, maybe you can translate, Dr. Lee.
那个同学他现在讲有两种方法，就是你有两个方式的哈。有的人呢，他会不信任政府，啊，有的呢他是信任政府。可是现在哈，就是问题是同学，你看他说你是信任政府，是当你今天有问题的时候，你会不会要去找警察来帮你忙？或是被人家欺负的时候，你找警察，然后警察是遵守那个一个法律的前提之下，跟着那个来保护你，对不对？所以这时候你就觉得说，哎，这个是政府帮你做的事情。可是呢，你有时候又不相信这个政府，你就觉得哦，我不喜欢这个总统啊，我不喜欢这个市长啊，那个就他违反了一些，这个就是社会的一些改变嘛。所以这两种原因会导致一些在产业界，尤其像那个，如果你不信任政府的时候，像那个产业，你就会觉得说你在这边开业啊，或者是你设个公司，你觉得有不安全感。
Okay, so before we continue, do you have any opinions or do you want to comment on what you heard?
哎，现在开始问问题，来提问题啊。张元浩，你先吗？我刚刚不是跟你讲吗？
So, okay, from
玉洁没有来吗？来，还是你可以先提一个，你先提。
do you want to say something now or? Okay, so let's continue and then hopefully you guys can come up with some questions or ideas or some comments. Okay, so remember this, we're doing this for you. We want you guys to think more about services and services management so that in the future you can understand the industry better and it can help you when you try to get a good job. So one question I have for you. Look at Taiwan's business environment, especially services. Can you think of one area in the service industry or business that is really getting developed or getting better and growing in Taiwan?
你现在有没有想想台湾哪个服务产业的工作会觉得现在越来越好呢？哪一种服务产业的工作是在台湾感觉它是越来越好的？
Okay, so let me ask you this. I know that many of us we get maybe a little bit annoyed or unhappy with all these tourist buses that are all over the place these days in Taiwan. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where are all these tourists coming from?
这个游客最多从哪来的 ？Mainland China。
Yeah, mostly China, but of course there's some from Japan and some from other countries, Singapore and Hong Kong. Actually, a lot of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of Hong Kongese coming to Taiwan. So, what does this mean? What does this mean? If we see a lot of tourists coming to Taiwan all the time, what does this mean?
对呀，你现在他现在不是讲的服务产业哪个会越来越多吗？越来越成长吗？然后你现在看到很多的观光客，他说他讲的是日本跟香港来台湾的很多，代表什么意思啊？服务产业什么服务产业啊 ？Travel industry is growing up.
It means, exactly like Dr. Lee is saying, it means that the service industry is growing in Taiwan. Okay, every time you're going to get more and more tourists coming to your country, that means something is happening in the service industry. Okay, so Taiwan is relying less and less on manufacturing. A lot of the manufacturing is now in China, as you know. Okay, Eddie, let's go on with your next.
I'd like to emphasize that this is not a matter of politics, but of culture, okay? Because one of the illusions of the late 20th century and early 21st century was that there is a change of regime, then there is a change of economics. And it's interesting that the prediction didn't come true, because it's culture, not institutions, that shape the behavior of people in a service industry. And so if you take, for example, I want to give a very unpleasant example from Romania, okay? So in 1990, communism collapsed in Romania, and there was this enthusiasm for capitalism. And so all kinds of new businesses started coming out, and of course, industry business, service industry. And what happens in a business, you have to loan money, to borrow money, and to give them back, to make a loan, to pay, to have credit. And people didn't, not only they did not keep their terms, but they also, the law enforcement was not very active to take action in these kind of things. And then there was a new kind of service that developed in Russia, in Romania, all across Eastern Europe, which is a very tough, very tough and criminal collection agencies based on former KGB and secret police agents. That they would tell business people, okay, I learned that you guys need need an iron fist to get your money back, so we are going to do it for you. And so this is a kind of criminal activity. But it's very interesting. So where the government is too weak or too corrupt, or the law enforcement is corrupt, you have all these mafia structures that are ready to back up businesses. And of course, it's not a situation you want to be in. There are a lot of people in this world that feel very comfortable in this kind of gangster situation. So they are very happy to go and make big money in these kind of places, because they have this culture of hiring guns, so to say, okay, and getting their job through. But I mean, if you are a regular person like most of us, you don't want to be in such places. So how are you going to spot such a place? Because it's not a political regime, it's not the pretense, it's the culture. You have to learn the history of that place. For instance, you talk about Taiwan, China. What is? Let me make some comments about Chinese people, either in Taiwan or in continental China or Hong Kong. What is the characteristic of Chinese people is that they have been living in very organized societies for thousands of years. Actually, they have been the first people to organize their society with a good, strong government and very well run institutions. And so people have this culture of behaving according to the law and respect for the institutions. But if you go in another place, let's say Middle East, for thousands of years, all the governments in the Middle East have been predatory governments. They have put high taxes on their people, and basically they have robbed their own people like they were conquered people. And so it's nature for those people not to trust their governments and not to trust the law. So if you want to do business there, you better befriend some very powerful people, some sheikhs, some rich people, some police chief. Even if you're going if you have a problem with the law, you better have friends in the law enforcement and in the justice system. And so this is a very important thing to understand, that if you want to do business in some this kind of rocky places, then you better be prepared to deal with people in the manner they are dealing over there. So the safe place is where if you study the history of a certain nation or country, if you notice that they have been stable for hundreds of years or even thousands of years, then you can't trust the culture. But there was no stability in the last few hundred years. You know there is a culture of instability, and everything is unstable there, and nothing is played by the law, by the rules. So you make the rules. And people make the rules ad hoc.
Okay. Let's talk about what Eddie said a little bit. He said, and it's true, the Chinese culture has been around for thousands of years, generations and generations, and the culture brought some kind of a structure evolved with the culture as well, and people compared to other countries like Africa and the Middle East, where everything, everything within a culture has changed so many times over time, over the past hundreds or thousands of years. Even though, for example, the Arabic culture is quite old, not as old as the Chinese, for example, but they never really form a particular structure like the Chinese culture, because the government has always put very high taxes on the people and pretty much treated its own people like they were not their own people, but treated the people like they were foreigners or slaves or something else. So in this sense, or in this case, people never got to trust the government and never got to experience or to create a certain structure that had grew and evolved along with the culture of the people. So I think perhaps in some of the Asian countries, because if you look at Japan, if you look at South Korea, they all have the Chinese culture within them. Okay, I mean.